And Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train is hauled it away.
Hi, I'm Anya.
I'm Jaime. And I'm Deryn.
And we're with Santa Barbara Middle School Teen Press here with
Rich.
Hi, nice to meet you. So, tell us about your woods as a child.
About
your woods.
my woods. Oh. Well, they were behind my house. I lived on the edge of the suburbs. Had to go through the back hedge, through the cornfield where my underground fort was, and then from there on into the woods. And I had tree houses and forts. I had a 4-story, 4-deck tree house. I designed it and got the other kids in the neighborhood to do the heavy lifting. We lifted lumber from surrounding developments to create this tree house. But those woods were very, very special to me.
You said nature was your villain. What did you mean by that?
I'm convinced that if I had grown up now that I would have been put on Ritalin or some other stimulant because I was distractible. I did spent a lot of time looking out the window and daydreaming and telling too many jokes in class and moving around too much. So I think I would have been one of the kids that they would have given Ritalin to. And I think that too many kids get Ritalin. Some kids probably need it, but too many. And I think some of the research has shown that the University of Illinois has shown that just a little bit of contact with nature, the kids with the symptoms of attention deficit disorder, those symptoms get much better, even kids as young as 5 years old. So the question arises is, the huge number of kids that are being given Ritalin. Some schools, 30% of the boys are on Ritalin, mainly for boys, apparently. Would that be true if these kids were getting outside more, particularly into nature?
How did your parents encourage you to be outside?
Well, we had a big garden in the backyard. Things like every spring, this is in Kansas, actually this part was in Missouri, and in the spring the box turtles would migrate. And so every spring we would get in the car and I would be in the back seat with my little brother after he came, and my father would drive down the roads after a rain, and there were box turtles migrating, crossing the roads, and a lot of them would get hit, and some of them would get hit, and we called them spinners because they'd start spinning. And my father hit the brakes, my mother would jump out of the car and grab a couple turtles, put them in the back seat with me, and I'd take them. Every spring we got about a dozen turtles, took them home. My father dug a turtle pit and we kept them in this pit, and I fed them worms and berries all summer, and then in the fall we'd take them out and let them go. So it was a lot of things like that, a lot of fishing, a lot of outdoor activity.
For children whose families do not have access to nature, how do you recommend they get their share of time in the outdoors?
Well, that's a really good question. Not everybody has the woods behind their house, obviously. So schools that have school gardens, schools that have outdoor classrooms are really important. But many inner city neighborhoods actually have more nature than you'd think. Now, it's a different kind. It's in alleyways. It's even in the cracks of sidewalks. But the Sierra Club has a volunteer program where they take kids in inner city neighborhoods. The first thing they do is they put backpacks on them and they go for a 5-mile hike in their own neighborhood. And they look for nature, and they always find it. And also the idea of creating nature, not just depending on the nature that's already there, but planting gardens in inner city neighborhoods. You can have things behind your house, you can have window boxes, community gardens. There's a lot that can happen even in inner city neighborhoods that don't look like they have a lot of nature.
At our school, we spend the last 2 weeks of our school year outside. What should we tell the people who say we should be in class?
Go outside. Tell them to go outside. Actually, that's a serious answer. Tell them to come outside with you and see what they find. See how they feel. See if they feel dumber when they go home. I don't think so. I think they'll feel smarter. See if they feel more tense when they go home. I don't think so. I think they'll feel their stress lift. Ask them if they feel more unhealthy after they've been outside with you in nature when they get home. I think they'll feel better. I think their health will improve. So I think that's kind of a serious answer, actually. Tell them to go with you.
A couple weeks ago, I interviewed Michael Wesch, and I asked him how I should build my house of wonder. So how should I build my school of wonder?
I think there are good books out there. There's on how to create outdoor classrooms. You have to have teachers that support that. Maybe a principal, maybe a school district that supports it. That helps. But even without that, gardens, schoolyard gardens, naturalizing the schoolyard. You can find out a lot on the web, for instance, Children in Nature Network, which I helped found. That's childreninnature.org. You can go there and you can find out what other schools and kids and teachers are doing all over the country to bring nature to their schools.
How do you get kids to spend time outside when they'd rather be inside playing video games or watching TV?
Well, it's not always easy because, video games are a lot of fun to a lot of kids. And there's a lot that can be done in terms of convincing kids that they will have fun if they go outdoors. They'll use all of their senses, to begin to talk to them about, do they feel really alive? And again, it's kind of what we were talking about there. Once they get outside, they'll want more of that. That's usually the way it works. They'll want to experience that more.
You have an iPhone, Kindle, and an iPad, but you still want kids to be outside. How do you get a balance of nature and technology?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Kindle and iPad and iPhone. I don't know if they're good for me. I think you heard me say tonight that my younger son, the 24-year-old, just sold his computer. He put an ad on Craigslist and sold it because he couldn't take that pressure all the time of the computer in his bedroom looking at him, waiting for him to play with it. And I don't trash technology. It's going to be with us. We use it. It's part of our life. Right now, I don't think I could make a living as a writer without it. And it is fun. I used to like it a lot more than I like it now in terms of spending time figuring out how to make it work better. It's more a question of balance. That the more high-tech, in fact, the more gadgets we have in our life, I think the more nature we need. And literally to balance the stress that technology can create and the depression, actually, that technology can create. Nature happens to provide a very quick relief from the burnout from too much technology in our lives.